heavy festival,
Yeah,
man.
yeah, Woodstock and Wildflower.
Yeah. What was that?
So Wildflower was back when I first started the long course triathlon, it was really the only international half Ironman that was kind of internationally recognised and known by everyone in the industry. And in 2006, I won the race and broke the course record by 6 minutes. And everyone who was anyone in Ironman racing had done that race. And it was pretty awesome to race that race, break that record, and that record still stands today.
Yeah.
Hey, awesome people of the world, it is so cool to be kicking off this very first recording with my good friend, professional athlete, Terenzo Bozzone. Terenzo and I met in the full format Rangitoto College, and I remember I was a new kid to the school. I'd been at another school for a year prior, but it really knocked my confidence, and on this very first day, the strapping athlete came to me and provided words of encouragement that later saw me go on to participate in athletics, represent my country in sport, and create opportunities that I never ever imagined. Terenzo is what I call an opportunity-centric person, and it is quite clear in this recording how this has not only enabled him to become great, but overcome what many would stop at. He's gone on to be a full-time athlete, achieving awesomeness in the world of Ironman. It was so awesome to have the opportunity to go into the day-to-day life, to find out what Terenzo does to be a professional athlete. We speak about deciding who to be, family stuff, the mindset of a champion, and end the interview with some steps on becoming the most awesome Ironman that you can be. Here we go.
It's not it.
How's it going, man?
Yeah, real good.
It's probably one of the coolest names in sport. Do you think?
Thanks,
do you
Kev.
think Mum and Dad knew you were destined for greatness when they gave you that?
Well, I'm not sure what they were thinking when they named me, but I thought I would pass the curse on to my son when we had our firstborn boy, and I gave him the name Cavallo. I'm like, no one could say or spell my name correctly now, and I'm sure he's going to have the same curse all through his life. But it's a great point of difference, and hopefully something for people to remember me by.
It absolutely is. You're definitely creating that legacy in sport. You're known as one of the kindest, most approachable people in Ironman. So, congratulations on achieving that alone, let alone all the championships that you have won.
Thanks, Cam. I mean, sport was a great way for me to, I guess, put a lot of energy and my spare time into growing up and through high school. When I was younger, I swam competitively. When I was younger than that, I dipped my toes in the water with all kind of sports stuff: cricket, soccer, tennis, athletics, and then I was kind of pursuing swimming quite seriously, and it was just really a way for me to, I guess, just keep setting goals and keep striving to be the best version of myself that was possible, and I always I just wanted to be myself as well and be a good friend and a good family person.
And where did the goal setting in sport come from? Because I figure that as soon as you got into sport, you wanted to get to the very highest level. Whatever you chose.
Yeah, for sure. When I was 12, 13 and I was swimming competitively, I had aspirations of going to the Olympics for swimming, and unfortunately I actually popped my eardrum when I was wakeboarding over the summer holidays when I was 13, and I had a surgery which ended up being a 7-hour operation, and that basically forced me out of the water for a while. Where the goal setting started, I think with anything in life, if you're going to do it, you might as well do it to the best of your ability, and I guess that's something that was either ingrained in me from a young age with my parents, or from some of the teachers and coaches along the sports that I was doing when I was a lot younger. But above everything, have fun, and that's the big thing in my life is don't waste any time.
Cool. And you speak about people who have inspired and encouraged you into sport. Do you consider those people to be mentors of yours, or?
For me, I kind of looked when I was looking at mentors. I kind of looked at the people who transcended their sport, who were kind of the top of their game, and not just for performance, but for how they operated on a complete level. And people that when I was younger that kind of came to mind. A few of these guys have kind of dropped off the list, but like the likes of Michael Jordan. His just ability to stay calm under pressure, to kind of get everything right. Michael Schumacher, the Formula One race car driver, and he was more than just a fast driver. He he did everything. Like, he knew how the car worked and how the car operated. Tiger Woods was another one of those people, and of course at the time back when I started competitive sport, Lance Armstrong, when he was on track to winning his 7 Tour de France titles, he was also someone, and Lance. While he's kind of gone downhill since then in a mentorship role, the way he kind of approached high performance and winning cycling races just kind of gave me like a new approach, a new appreciation for going after every small percentage of gains that I could along the way.
And with that, and those people, and they've all got incredible resilience, I guess that makes them part of a success that they are. They've had to go through tough times. I'm thinking of you when you burst your eardrum and you wanted to be that swimmer. That would have been a testing time for you back then. I'm sure.
For sure. I mean, back then that was testing, and there's been a lot of injuries along the way. Halfway through last year, I was actually taken out by a truck out cycling, which gave me a pretty bad concussion, and the recovery from that was really slow. And then sometimes just recently, this past weekend was Ironman New Zealand down in Taupo, and things had never been going so well leading into an event ever, and it got to 140 kilometers of the 180k bike, and things just started going backwards pretty quickly, and got onto the marathon, and some hamstring issues came up, which was just a big disappointment, and I'm still kind of digging myself out of the post-race blues. But I'm definitely finding having the next goal, having the next piece of the puzzle in place, and working towards that is kind of definitely keeping me on the straight and narrow, and keeping me striving to be the best I can be.
That's awesome and incredible at the same time, because less than a year ago you had that big accident, and you said you're going into the New Zealand Ironman feeling fitter and stronger than ever before, really. Can you explain a little bit about that accident and kind of your mentality in order to recover the way in which you have?
Yeah, I wish I knew what happened in the accident. I was out riding in Kumeu and basically have very few memories of the whole day. No memories after the accident. So I think it happened about 2:00 in the afternoon. I remember waking up in the hospital around 11 p.m. with my family around, and kind of that's my first memories, my first conscious memories. Outside of that, I was still conscious, but I was in and out of kind of being there. The following day, when I woke up and I guess had a kind of started getting my thoughts together a bit, I said to myself, if ever there was a time to choose a different destiny, to kind of choose a different profession to follow, this would be I guess all the excuse that I needed to kind of move on with something else in my life. And I didn't need to sit on that for long at all. It straight away came to me that I've got unfinished business in the sport. I want to get to the top of the podium at the Ironman World Championships, which are in Hawaii in October every year, and I guess I love it. My love for triathlon has never been as strong as it is now.
They say that often through our tough times we get our biggest strengths from. And when you look back on that experience, what has been your biggest learning from that?
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. Those tough times when you do come out the other side, you do come out stronger. And yeah, biggest learning from the accident. It's really hard to say say what that is. Don't ride outside too much. I'm stuck on the indoor trainer in the garage quite a lot now.
But that's hard, right? Because, I mean, how many hours riding are you having to do per week in order to be the way in which you perform?
Yeah, it's kind of between 13 and 16, 17 hours a week. At the moment, my wife and I, after the accident, we came up. Well, she came up with an agreement that I had to agree on. she
and you followed, which is good.
Basically, happy wife, happy life. And she was like, "Okay, well, you can ride on the road. You obviously have to do that, but we're going to limit the amount of times you ride on the road, and you always have to ride with someone. So whenever I go out riding, generally I'm with a mate. I have lights and cameras on my bike, so recording everything.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've always been very vigilant, and safety always came first. I mean, I know how dangerous it is riding a bike on the road, so that's always at the top of my mind when I get out there. I've got 2 kids, and above anything else, I want to come back home at the end of my training day and see them.
Yeah, I mean, that's the exciting thing, right? Knowing what you're coming back to. But I guess also a big motivation behind what you do.
So after the accident, I guess my comeback races, I tried to get on the start line for the World Championships in Hawaii in October, but that didn't come to fruition. Unfortunately, a few weeks before the race, I had to make the tough call not to go ahead.
Yeah.
But by the end of November, I was ready to crack into some races, and I won a half Ironman race.
Yeah. That was with Western Sydney?
Yeah, Western Sydney. And then the following week, I went from having no expectation going into Western Sydney to, oh, wow, I actually raced quite well. Now all of a sudden I started putting...
we caught up, I don't know if it was 4 or 6 weeks before that race, and you were still kind of hobbling around and sort of thinking, how am I going to do this?
Yeah, I wasn't able to run on the road until about 2 weeks before the first race, the Ironman, Western Australia, and it got really tough. I mean, I was struggling, and I kept telling myself, do this for your kids. You're setting an example for your kids. You're showing them that persevering and hard work and determination will all be rewarded at the end of the day, and that was what kept me going.
Yeah, and when I look on your social media, your Instagram, your Facebook, I mean, you've inspired a lot of people, not just athletes, but people from all over New Zealand to really believe in resilience, believe in themselves, and believe in the dream. But when it comes to your dream of being the best Ironman that you can be, I mean, what does day-to-day life look like for Terenzo Bozzone?
Yeah, I mean, when we're on, we're on. So I guess when I'm training and leading into a competition, things are quite serious. I'm very fortunate. My wife picks up a lot of the pieces. I get the time with the kids in the afternoon and between training sessions, which is awesome. Don't have to do any of the hard stuff with the kids, which is good. Sometimes my son comes in the garage and helps me out with the bike trainer workouts. But yeah, it's basically all revolved around hitting the workouts as best I can, recovering. So generally a nap in between workouts during the day, and getting to sleep early at night and recovering to do it all again the next day. And that's basically what everything revolves around leading into a race. But post a race, I get to spend a lot more time with the family, and all those kind of sacrifices that I make along the way, I can kind of put them aside and live more, be more of a normal person and more of a normal dad, which is a lot of fun.
And do you consider those sacrifices? I mean,
well, yeah, I say sacrifices, but I was just, I guess, struggling to find the right word.
Yeah.
It's I mean, and I enjoy, making those so-called sacrifices. I enjoy it because I know that that's what's going to make me the best athlete at the end of the day, and I can see myself improving along the way. And no one, I mean, the whole family doesn't look at it as sacrifices. It's basically the stuff you need to do to be the best, and that's what I'm doing.
But that's kind of easy when but when it's just you know, and you're younger, you're a teenager, you can be a full-time Ironman, full-time athlete. But as you grow and you evolve more through life, you get more dreams that don't replace the other dreams. So like when I look at your life, and it's been from athlete to Ironman to to getting married, to having a house, to having a child, to having 2 children. Like, these are all big dreams, man. And so how do you manage in order to be at the top of your game when it comes to every single level of that? Like,
Got a dream big.
and was that scary at the beginning, you know, when you're going from being just a pure athlete to now looking at building the rest of your life?
Yeah. To be honest, the clarity on it hasn't really changed, and the difficulty. I mean, I don't look at compartmentalizing those different dreams as difficult. Yeah. I mean, I guess it works in ebbs and flows. At times, the dream to be the best athlete in the world is primary, and kind of all. All obligations to achieving that are kind of put first, and at times those are put second, and doing the housework is put first. So I mean, today I'm in kind of a low training week, and went past Bunnings to buy some light bulbs to replace the light bulbs in the house, and but yeah, I mean,
but that's important as well, right? Because I imagine it's that downtime, and it gives you that time to stop and reflect on what you've done and where you're going to next.
Oh, totally. You need to have that downtime, recharge the batteries, get some clarity back, and kind of reset before you work towards your next goal. But yeah, it's just, I guess for me, what gives me that strength at the end of the day to be able to balance everything is having my amazing family at home, and knowing that they support me no matter the outcome, no matter what happens, and I just try and be the best role model that I can be for my kids. But it's that, I tell you what, it's so cool looking at them, looking as they develop. My son's 3.5, my daughter's almost 2, and just seeing how things change, and just wondering what road they're going to follow in life. And probably the biggest worry my wife and I have is that we can, I guess, be good parents and keep them on a half decent track.
You're a champion with whatever you do. But
thanks, Cam.
what was it specifically about Ironman? Because you started with triathlon, and you did a raft of stuff before that. But what was it about Ironman that made you think, yep, this is what I wanted to do?
So yeah, like you said, I started with the short course triathlon, and I guess when I was younger and I wrote down my goals, I saw myself going to the Olympics for the short course triathlon, and then progressing to the long course, long course triathlon / Ironman. After that, unfortunately, my Olympic dream was didn't happen in 2008, and at that stage, I decided to step up to the long course stuff, and have never really looked back. And I think it suits me better. More of an all-round swim, bike, runner. With the short course stuff, the biking is quite negligible in the sense that the swimming is really important. The bike is draft legal, so everyone can draft a little bit on the bike, and then the run is where the race is won. Yeah. With Ironman, it's non-drafting on the bike, so your cycling strength really comes into fruition there, and it's been a pretty exciting road.
Yeah, well, it's been exciting to watch. What percentage of your life is in New Zealand versus America versus in Bahrain?
The Middle East. Yeah. Well, I guess back with the Ironman thing, I don't know if you were going to get to this or not, but when we were in high school, Cam and I were together, and Cam actually said, I want to get into running. I'd really like to get into running, and I mean, with me, everything's long distance stuff. I'm not going to do the sprinting stuff. So I told Cam, cool, buddy, I'll run past your place. I'll pick you up. We'll run up to the track and do some drills, and then we'll run back. So.
I still remember that. It was at that point that I decided I was going to do sprinting, right? Because I remember you picked me up, we ran down my driveway. I was totally expecting to see a car. There was no car. I thought maybe we had parked around the corner. Still no car. We're running up a hill. You were talking about your weekend, and I'm like, man,
come on, man. You only lived like 3 k's.
I think I'm going to stick to 200 meters at the most. But yeah.
When I look at my passport at the end of the year, generally 5 to 6 months here in New Zealand, and 5 to 6 months on the road, between 5 and 7 months on the road.
And is that purely a mix of competition and training?
Yeah,
or?
yeah, exactly. I mean, most of the racing I do is on the in the international circuit. So that's during the New Zealand winter and the northern hemisphere summer.
Yeah.
So kind of now we're getting March, April. This is the start of the season, and it'll go through until November, December. It's also really hard to train here in New Zealand in the winter.
Okay.
I
It's
really
just
love
too
it.
cold?
Yeah,
or?
it's just too cold and too wet. And you also get, I mean, with the World Championships being in Hawaii, where it's super hot, you kind of need to make sure you're getting that heat acclimation through the year, and leading into the event is really important.
Okay, and so as you lead into those events, I mean, I look on your website, I look on your uniform, I see your sponsors and the support that you've had for a long time. Is there pressure from your sponsors, or do you feel that, or is it more motivation?
Yeah, it's. I mean, when people rely on you, people invest in you, you want to do well for them. But I've never really felt pressure from any of my sponsors to perform. And I guess if I don't perform to their expectations, they don't they don't renew the partnership. So that's happened a few times. But hey, you know me, Cam. I'm always going to go out and do the best I can, and
Absolutely.
I'm not going out there just to make up the numbers. I'm being the best I can. I'm always searching for that edge, and I'll always give it 100%.
And so when you're searching for that edge, and when you have your sponsors and your supporters, and you've got a kind of a game plan, what does success look like? Because although you're winning a lot, you're not winning every time.
Yeah.
So how do you measure success?
Yeah, I guess, yeah, like you said, you're not winning all the time. It's, I mean, if you race 12 times a year, you'll be lucky if you win half of those races and podium at another quarter of them.
And that's just really due to peaking and stuff like that.
Yeah,
right?
exactly, and things. I mean, and when you go out and race, it's not just about winning. It's about, I mean, and when you go to the World Championships, it is. But along the way, it's about testing different scenarios, testing different nutrition plans, testing different build-ups, and seeing how your body responds to different training and different when you change the pieces of the puzzle, how that affects the outcome. So you're always learning. You're always trying to see what works better. If you can kind of increase your game, a few percent here, a few percent there by doing something, and sometimes it doesn't work, and that's when you don't have the great results, and sometimes it does. But yeah, success is, I guess we measure, everything's measured nowadays. So we measure my training numbers, so power on the bike, heart rate, measure the speed running and my heart rate running, the times in the swimming pool. Everything's measured. We can measure something called HRV, which is heart rate variability. We measure that in the morning, and that basically tells you your fatigue on a central nervous system level. Measure your blood glucose and your ketone levels every morning, and then after every workout.
And are you doing all that kind of by yourself, or you've got a team of people?
I'm doing most of it, but my coach Dan Plews kind of oversees it and looks at the numbers and makes sure things are trending in the right direction. So that's quite good, and it's good to have him on board. So he was a little bit of a training part. He works like 3 or 4 jobs, so he's quite busy. But he actually did the Ironman World Champs last year in the amateur division, and
awesome.
and ended up winning that. And by I think over 10 minutes, he was the first amateur home. So he's he knows what he's doing. So I just need to kind of replicate his plan and his performance, and I should be okay.
That's awesome how you coach one that amateur.
Yeah.
And you're competing there as a professional.
Yeah.
And because we've seen you have some massive highs. I mean, I think you've been a professional athlete as long as I've known you, which is half my life. There's obviously been variations of that, but you know, I remember as a kid you won your first world championship. As a teenager, was that right?
Yeah,
that was in short course.
2000, 2001.
Yeah, and then you've also had some moments where you're like, heck, like that didn't go to plan. And so, how do you manage yourself? How do you manage your ego when you've finished the race, whatever position, the press conference is over, it's just you're in your hotel, you're wherever. How do you manage it?
I mean, that's a good question, and it's tough at times. It is really tough. It's while there are people around, the road can be kind of lonely and a little bit daunting at times. But I guess it goes back to having my family and such an amazing family, and they really put things in perspective. When it comes to, you've had a bad day, you can still look at my kids and go, hey, I tried my hardest, and geez, you're amazing. I love you so much, and thank you very much for being in my life. And I guess at the end of the day, as long as you're not sitting on the sidelines and crossing your fingers hoping to perform well, you're actually going out and you're putting in the work, and you're doing all the small things that need to be done, then you're doing everything you can, and if it doesn't happen at the end of the day, it's a shame, but hey, you've done everything, and it's not meant to be. So I'm a big believer in fate. Everything kind of happens for a reason, and who knows what the reason I got taken out by a truck was, but we'll hopefully in the next couple of years we'll find that out, and hopefully it'll be a good reason.
Well, it looks like we're discovering that, from an inspirational point of view. I always thought it as your Superman moment, I remember when the news came in, and I was in tears, mate, because, I've known you for half my life, and it was hard, but you're picking up, you're learning from it, your resilience is kicking in, all your experiences, and I guess, like you say, your family is a massive motivating fact for you to do what you do. Yeah. Is there a persona that Terenzo adopts? Because you are the nicest guy, and yet at the same time, you're obviously out there to win and be the best that you can be, and managing your training load and family. So are there different versions of Terenzo Bozzone?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, with a lot when it comes to my competitors, hey, we're very fortunate in the sport that we all get on. Most of the guys get on really well, but we'll get on well, and for sure, when I'm on the start line with these guys, I want to make them hurt as much as they can. I want to make them wish that they hadn't decided to race against me. Yeah. And I'll do that every time I race against them. Doesn't matter how big or how small the race is. I'm gonna bring my A game, and I'm gonna try and make these guys hurt. But yeah, I mean, get to the finish line, and afterwards we'll share a beer and hang out and tell stories and watch our kids play together, and it's not bad. And I think everyone's like that. Like you can't be on the race course trying to be the best and also a friend. You kind of, that killer instinct needs to take over, and you need to want to win, and you need to want that bad. Otherwise, it's way too easy just to give up, I guess. I think you need to be the person you are, and not be someone you're not. And I guess, I mean, that's the person I am. I'm easygoing, lighthearted, and not that hard to get on with most of the time.
Well, you've always been easy, but it is that thing of, like, you have your thing where you race, but you go in and the rest of life is the rest of life, and you adopt that's who you are off the course. Yeah,
for me, yeah. I mean, when we say that, it's I'm relaxed, but I'm still, I guess, psycho about the things that need to be done. Like with prep, when I'm training, when I need to recover, that stuff has to be done properly. It can't be done half-heartedly. It needs to. You need to have that killer instinct, and you can do it in a relaxed way and with a relaxed vibe. But that's where I guess comes in handy with my wife. She kind of understands that needs to be done, and she'll make sure she doesn't ask me, hey, can we go out partying on a Friday night? I know you can have a hard workout Saturday. She'll be like, yeah, cool, you got a hard workout Saturday. This is what we need to eat Friday night, and that's boom, tick.
So you've got the dream team, really.
Dream team, man.
You put in what you do, but you've built that support around you, and it's legendary. Hey, Terenzo, I've just I wanted to end the interview with a few quick-fire questions, and just kind of what comes to your mind when you hear these words or this phrase.
Oh man, you've seen me the last half an hour. I'm not good at quick-fire. I'll see if I can answer them quickly.
Which is number one. So, celebrity treasure island.
Oh my gosh.
Can we mention that, or you just want to move on?
No. That was pretty exciting back in the day, for sure.
You were still at school then, or just finished school?
I had just finished school. Yeah. So it was 2004. I think I was my second year out of high school.
Yeah. Crazy times. Okay. Daily motivation. What is it?
Just at the moment trying to win put myself in a position to be able to win the Ironman World Championships.
Legacy. Is it something you think about?
Yeah, I definitely do. I don't know precisely what I want my legacy to be, but I do know that I want to leave a legacy for my kids that if you work hard and put your mind to anything, you can achieve it.
Word awesome.
Awesome. Camp Calkoen.
Yeah, man. Wildflower. That sounds like a heavy festival, man.
Yeah, Woodstock and Wildflower.
Yeah. What was that?
So Wildflower was back when I first started the long course triathlon, it was really the only international half Ironman that was kind of internationally recognized and known by everyone in the industry. And in 2006, I won the race and broke the course record by 6 minutes, and everyone who was anyone in Ironman racing had done that race, and
Cool.
it was pretty awesome to race that race, break that record, and that record still stands today.
Life education.
Life Education is a charity that I'm an ambassador for here in New Zealand. They have Harold the Giraffe, he along with the teaching staff go around to schools around the country, teaching kids about healthy lifestyle and just making the right decisions through life. So that's been. I was gutted not to be. I was born in South Africa, so I didn't grow up in New Zealand and didn't have the opportunity to have Life Education. And Harold helped me out along the way, but my wife did, and all the ravings from every young Kiwi I speak to has been so positive about Life Education.
Someone's looking to get into triathlon, Ironman, doing it for the first time. What would be a few things that you could advise? A few steps they could take tomorrow.
Yeah, sure. I mean, if you're an Ironman's a big event and it costs a lot. There's a lot of resources going into it. So I would strongly suggest getting a coach to help you out. That's probably the first step. So you're spending all that other money. A coach who's done it before, who coaches athletes, would help guide you in the right direction. Finding people with similar interests, that's also helpful. Makes the training more fun. And while it is a great achievement you're going after, having people in the same boat as you helps keep you motivated, because there will be times where that motivation is lacking. And just a slow gradual progression. You don't want to start out at 100% and all guns blazing and get 1 week of training done and have to have 3 weeks off. And that kind of crosses over into the actual race. It's really important to kind of stick to your race plan. Try and be as even pace as you can through the whole day, and that'll get you to the finish line as fast as possible.
Awesome. And finally, Terenzo Bozzone, why do you do what you do?
I love it. And what I love about it is, I guess, setting my goals and striving with all my might to achieve those goals.
Terenzo Bozzone, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for Awesomeness with Cam Calkoen and showing us how you dream big and achieve more.
Shop, bro. Thank
Shop,
you.
man. Cool. Thank you.
We all have opportunities. We all have challenges. Our awesomeness is a reflection of what we see, what we do, and what we create, and how awesome it was to hear from the words of Terenzos Bozzone about what he does to become the very best that we can be. I know that it's inspired me, and I trust that it's inspired you to push that little bit harder to find your awesomeness. You know, the most awesome things in life are so often a collaboration of dreams, and I would like to thank Terenzo for his time. I would also like to thank the NBR for providing the studio for recording the original visuals, the original audio. You know, when we share dreams, the most incredible things can be achieved, but indeed it is often through the process of attempting the seemingly impossible that the most extraordinary outcomes are achieved. So, right now is a great opportunity for you to think and reflect on the challenges that you've overcome, to think about the risks that you have taken, that you can take, what you can do that's a little bit different, to go out there, to dream big, and enjoy your awesomeness.